so very easy. My name is Laura, and there are so many different things that we can collect, from Royal Daltons all the way to thimbles. And as quilters, well, a lot of us like to collect fat quarters. A fat quarter is a quarter of a yard or a quarter of a meter. There's two ways you can get a quarter yard. You can buy a quarter yard, which would go right from selvage to selvage. A fat quarter, however, is a larger piece because you take that yard of fabric and you are going to cut it in half along the fold and then cut it in half. So you're going to have one large quarter. This gives you more space to work on versus a long, thin strip. There are many different ways that you can buy a fat quarter. You can buy them single, you can buy them in stacks, and a lot of times they're folded differently. No matter how you buy them, the size is the same. It is 1/4 of either the yard or the meter. You can get fat quarters almost anywhere you shop for fabric. You can also get them online, and you can get a subscription so that you have fat quarters sent to you once a month. What's really great about that is the fat quarters are all coordinates, which means you don't have to worry about matching them up. For example, these fat quarters are from a subscription from Annie's. Now the fabric is by Clothworks, so you know the fabric is really nice fabric, and you know that they're going to match. Annie's has a program where you get 6 fat quarters delivered to your house once a month. The bonus is you get free patterns with each bundle of fat quarters, and the fabrics coordinate exactly with those patterns. All of the fabric and the patterns come together, so there's no shopping for it, there's no trying to match anything. It's all right here. The patterns that Annie has to go with the fat quarters are very well written. Each of the fat quarters is pictured, and it is showing you how to cut those fat quarters. So it's just not saying cut a strip at 2 inches. It's actually showing you where that 2-inch strip is going to be cut. The bonus with getting a collection, after a while you're going to get a nice collection of these patterns. You're going to be able to mix and match them. So I can take this pattern and use it towards this stack of fat quarters. The very first thing I do when I get a pattern is I like to read the entire pattern. A lot of times there's going to be some hints and tips that will be able to help me along the way. And if they're at the end, I would have missed them if I just follow along. So I like to go through the entire pattern first. And I'm going to take all of my fabrics, I like to press them and starch them. The next thing I'm going to do is make myself some little notes, and they're going to be coordinating with the pieces that I need to cut. So each piece that I need, I write it on these Post-its. I need purple, it is the piece A. I put the measurement down, 2 7/8 square, and I need to cut 6. So I do them for each one. Just makes it so much easier when I go to put them all together. Now I'm going to be able to cut them and put these Post-its right on each stack. This is the selvage, so this would have been the fold. So we do need to straighten up the edges. I find I don't need to straighten up all of the edges because the ends are normally trimmed off as you cut, but I need to have that starting edge straightened up and the top edge straightened. Now that my 2 edges are straightened up, I'm going to be able to cut as the pattern says. So my first cut is going to be 2 7/8 of an inch. That first row is going to be subcut into 6 2 7/8 inch squares. I'm going to continue following the picture along with the directions. I'm going to be able to take those Post-its and stick it right on my 6A's. At the very end, you can see that that piece does not have a number or a letter on it, which means it is a piece that is left over. So So I'm going to take that and put it in its own pile. By following the directions, the next cut is going to be a big piece, G. That piece is a backing piece. So I'm going to put my backing separate. The leftover had no number or letter, so I know this is a piece that is left over. I like to put them in order, so I'm going to have all of the pieces that are going to make the quilt together, the backing together, when I get the binding done, and whatever is left over. I'm going to go to the next color in the next diagram, and I'm going to cut the pieces and label them with my paper. And I'm going to continue to do that until I cut all of my fabric. So by the time I finish cutting all of those fat quarters up, all my notes have been used, so I know that I'm not missing anything. And I still have my scrap fabric that I'm able to use for another project. I have my binding and my backing cut and ready to go. Now I can work on the body of the quilt. A, B, C, D, and F are all the same measurement. It's 2 7/8 of an inch. I have 6 of the dark purple, 6 of the multicolored, 20 of this light color, 12 of the medium purple, and 8 of the medium green. Each of these need to be cut in half from corner to corner because they're all going to be combined to make half square triangles. The center of each block consists of these little fussy cut fairies. The squares are 4.5 inches and we need 3. There are some setting squares, which is this multicolored green, and they're 2.5 inches and we need 20. There are many different ways to make a half square triangle, and in this case, they're already cut first. A and B are going to go together. I have D and F that are going to go along the side of C. Now I'm going to be able to bring this right to the machine and chain piece all of these together. It saves a lot of time when you can chain piece. Chain piecing is where you're just going to stitch one piece and without removing this, stitch the next, and you're just going to continue stitching until all of your pieces are done. Then you're going to be able to cut them apart. The next thing I do is I like to lay out the blocks as they look. I know all of the pieces are here, and I'm going to be able to continue sewing them. I'm going to be able to match up those centers and sew them together. Take your pile and divide it in half so you have piles of 6. You're going to be able to divide this pile in half, and it's going to be stitched on each side. We have 6 side units and 6 bottom units. Because there's only 3 blocks, it's going to go together very quickly. So the sides onto the center. Then from there we're going to be able to sew on the 2 ends. With all 3 squares done, we're going to be able to sew them together. The 3 blocks are put together. Now we get to put a border all the way around the outside, and this is all we're going to need. Start by sewing all of these units together. And on each of the sides, you're going to put this multi-print green. When these are stitched together, you're going to have 4 remaining squares. 2 are going to go on each end, so that the light pieces are going to match. Now we need to do the top and the bottom. So 3 of these units together with 1 of the squares on each side. 2 more rows of stitching and we're done. The table mat is now done. And we still have the fabric cut for the backing and the binding. I like to keep my little cutting notes with the pattern. So if I'm ever going to make it again, I have it all set. This pattern can now go in my collection where I keep my fat quarters. So at any time I'm able to remake this pattern with different fabrics. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out. There is an introductory price, there are gifts, and you can cancel or put a hold on anytime. So it's a lot of fun. And a special thank you to Annie's Creative Quilters Fabric Club for sponsoring this video and sending me this product so that I could show you. Fat quarter subscriptions are so much fun. It's like giving yourself a free gift once a month. And it's a nice way to collect the fat quarters and some patterns. Thank you for joining me today on Sew Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe, and as always, come on back. Let's see what we're sewing next time in the sewing room. Bye for now.